Alright, don't we have an interesting team today? Not divisive at all. I'm sure that people won't have any tantrums and will see the alternative point of view in a logical and impartial manner, right? Of course. Now, seriously, this is not a hit piece. I don't hate on the guy. I'm not jealous. I'm not part of the Matrix, which in some way does exist, by the way. I kinda like Tate. I think he would be an interesting guy to have a beer with. I even agree of many things he's saying. About being a man, taking responsibility, working on yourself, saying no to alcohol, even finding a peace with God. That's all completely fine by me. But I still don't think overly highly of him. It's not about what he says, rather about what he does. Talking about Tate, people tend to love him or hate him. There is very few indifferent ones. Naturally, people are emotional about the things they love, which means they won't react well to reason, even if you do have a valid point. Good part of you will dislike this strongly, no matter of what position I take. Remember, I'm nobody. I'm just an opinionated a-hole with a mic. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not, but I could be. So it is okay to disagree, but it is important that we remain civil and keep the communication going. Hostility will usually just alienate and radicalize the other side. And personal attacks usually only mean two things. It hit the nerve, and you have no arguments. Remember that for the future. When somebody is going ad hominem, especially the women, that just means you just won the argument. Just walk away. Here's the thing about Tate. He's a guru. It's nothing new. We had people like him before, in many incarnations and variations. Religious fanatics, spiritual leaders, lifestyle coaches, how to get rich scammers, fake chads like Dan Blazerian, fake gym bros like the Liver King, but Tate integrates all of their traits and uses the social media skillfully, which allowed him to explode and get very popular, and that equals to rich. He is a good seller. He sells you the story, the things you want to hear. That's why people like him, especially young males, because he peddles the hope. And hope, we have a saying back here. Hope is sex worker. You understand? So he's a player. He's a showman. The impression is very important in his trade. He's very careful of where and how he films, what clothes he's wearing, how he looks, and what message is he sending, because all that is a part of a story. That is what he sells. Because without this fairy tale that he weaves, the idea of Andrew Tate, what is left? What remains when we strip off all the crap? This is my problem with Tate. It's not what he says, but what he does. Somebody told me, can you imagine if Jordan Peterson would talk to Tate? How great would it be? And what exactly would they be talking about? What experiences or interests those two people share? Peterson is an accomplished scientist, college professor, established author, respected psychiatrist. We can just go on. And Andrew Tate is exactly what? So let's summarize. When he was younger, he was, by his own admission, a drug dealer. Now, I don't take this as a major transgression. Young people do stupid things, it's whatever. But later, he became an electronic pimp. So, not only that he exploited women, but he also squeezed the cash out of a lonely man, taking advantage of both sides. Now, the argument could be made that he was merely a provider of service, the middleman, his marketing skills, their beauty, but by his own admission, he used the sex and love as a tool to keep these women in line and dependent on him. Also, he was using various other pimping methods of manipulation, extortion, limiting their movements. Those are all felonies, really. And that is just what we know. Pimping, even this more sanitized E version, is an ugly thing. Things happen. We will never know the whole story. And lately he started this Hustlers University, where again he exploits the gullible young men, selling them mostly nothing. Smoke and mirrors, snake oil, basic courses that you can find for free online, and using them for promotion with referral links, which is basically a pyramid scheme. Also, not to forget, one of his main courses used to be how to be an e-pimp and successfully exploit and manipulate women. It's a bit much. Also, like most of other worthless influencers, he did several crypto scams. But at this point, what did you expect? You see the pattern now. Yes, it is exploiting others. This is not what men do. Let me turn the table on him now. Men are providers, builders. Men are pillars of society, the backbone. Hate is just a parasite. That is all that he is, and I'm sorry. You may like the guy, he might sold you the story, but ultimately, it is what it is. People like to say about him, oh, he's very smart. He's competent, I'll give him that, but filming himself while admitting to major felonies, not that smart. But again, he has to do it because it is a part of his tale, an idea of Andrew Tate. And without this fairy tale, he is nothing. He has nothing to offer, and he knows it. Why Romania? Lawsuits in England, yes, but also because in London he's just another rich fake. London is full of those people, but in Romania, he's famous foreign hotshot. Jesus said a prophet is honored everywhere except in his hometown. That's why he left. He can't sell you the story if you already know who he is. Besides, Romania is full of young women with minimalist income. For a predator, excellent feeding ground. And if you still want to debate me, let me ask you a question. If you had a daughter, would you be comfortable to leave her to mingle with the people of his ilk? I most definitely would not. And if you would, you're either brainwashed or very naive. Let's leave it at that. Now let's play an amateur psychologist. This is my take on Tate. I think all the manliness and bragging is just a cover. I think deep down he's insecure and feels inadequate. This is why all the show. Not only to convince the others of his value, but most importantly, himself. This probably originates from his childhood. He was a mixed-race kid growing without a father. Life can be tough. You know how it is. So that is Tate for you. A swindler, manipulator, a liar. The guy changes his religion depending on location he is. Despite all of his money and success, he remains a total parasite with no allegiance, no ideals, no inherent value of any kind. Zero. Any dad who worked hard his entire life and raised a family is 100 times more of a man than Tate will ever be. Just facts, nothing more. Gentlemen, thank you for your time and see you around.